PulseChain's on a mission. What kind of mission do you think we're on? We kind of talked about, we talked about the glory side and all the interesting things that happen and stuff too. And we could talk about the ideals, the privacy, the freedom to transact and associate and all that stuff too. But what do you think, overall, a general explanation of PulseChain? What does it mean as far as when you participate on this kind of network, when you're waiting and you never have the certainty of anything, but you feel like there's just something here that you cannot ignore and you want to be a part of it? What is that piece that makes you so compelled to be around here and as in a mission oriented way? That's the way I think about it.
One of the things for me is the freedom of speech and the freedom to transact and sort of stuff like this and like sort of those values. I like the censorship resistance that PulseChain has, and I like how our community is sort of like we agree with most of these. I want to say most of us agree with all these ideals of like freedom to transact, freedom of speech, like freedom of assembly, like things like this, right? And like when you're in these like crypto ecosystems, and like Richard's even brought this up in the case and stuff like this, right? Like it's you're trying to make the world a better place, and I think like it says in your tweet like we're going to fix the world. And I think one of the ways you can do that is actually giving people their freedoms. Like Richard says that like I'm fighting for your freedoms, and he actually is. Like at the end of the day, like he's doing that. And I think we're on a like yeah we're on a mission to sort of like make mad gains, and as well as like I think definitely like the freedom of speech, and those are one of the things that like I really like. I think it's sort of like the SEC. I've said it before. It's like a blessing in disguise a little bit, where like they came after the wrong crowd a little bit, and hopefully like we get the regulatory certainty from it. So
Yeah, it's one of those. I said it before about why I think a lot of people are here. It's definitely people here want to get rich or richer, wealthier, all that stuff too. But I think the things you can learn, this ecosystem, you just can't find anywhere else. And that's why it sucks about when I see, but I mean, it's said all the staking narrative's dead, all this stuff. I mean, we see plenty of stakes still being made, plenty of people talking about it. I did polls, and there's plenty of people who have made stakes this year, knowing everything that's happened and all this stuff too, trying to lock up the cheap T-shares and stuff. But the principles that these products are built on, that's the thing I feel frustrating is when I see, the things haven't happened yet that we all would like to happen. The things we're, again, we don't expect, but we're like, everything looks so well. Like, why wouldn't this happen type of thing? And in the meantime, I hope people aren't learning the wrong lesson. I hope people aren't learning this. Well, everything's just speculation, and it doesn't matter what you do. You should just buy whatever random coin and get out and get in, get out, pumping up like deal. I hope people aren't learning that. I hope they aren't like, literally the sense of the word degenerating. I hope they aren't like literally degenerating into none of this matters. I'm just going to get my money as fast as I can and get out, when the entire place has been built on the ideals of delayed gratification and, freedoms and privacy and not being, at the will of, I love that. I tweeted, I saw somebody posted today a video of Richard talking about stop giving your money to centralized entities. Like, they love having it all in one place so they can tell you whether you can use it or not, all that stuff. I hope those ideals aren't being weakened. And I want people to get rewarded when they buy Hex and they stake Hex and they buy PulseChain and they participate in this ecosystem. And a lot of people who have been here for a while, they don't feel like they've been getting rewarded. And again, you could say, okay, well, they haven't waited long enough, or nobody knows. We're all just kind of playing this day by day type of thing too. Or everyone just assumes that I don't need to think about this. It's just going to happen eventually and it's all good. However you feel about it, I think whatever's going to happen is going to happen. And the people who are still here and haven't sold and or did whatever to benefit from what's been happening, all that, the ups and downs and stuff, they'll be like, why wouldn't they be new people? Why wouldn't they be new people come in who haven't been through all that stuff, who don't have all these notions of what's right, what's correct, they're just interested in the principles. They're interested in making money, and we come in and we kind of refill the spirit of the community almost. Like we have people who've been around for a while to keep the ethos, and we have the RHMaxis of every kind, and we have all the people who are just here to majority of the time support the ecosystem, to kind of show them and teach them and all these things. But there's no scenario I can think of where the community just gets emptied out and there's nothing left and nobody wants to be here. To me, that doesn't make any sense. There's too much that's been built around it. There's too many people that won't give up, and there's too many new people who haven't came in yet to be shown like what the power of this place really is. So I think that's the message I hope we're able to send. If it needs to be one-on-one onboarding people, if it needs to be whatever atmosphere, but I know it's harder to do that just with marketing, and if they do the research, they're gonna probably get bad information and all that stuff too. But if we're able to convey that message to new people coming in, and we're able to get green candles, I mean that's the key, right? Like that's how it works.
And that's exactly it. Like I think you'll always have people here like supporting Hex, building on Hex, building on PulseChain, supporting PulseChain, tweeting about it, stuff like this, right? And that's the community is one of the most important things in crypto. Like even if you go look at other communities, like I think it's fine if like we have our little infights here in PulseChain land, let's say, because like even energy is energy, right? So like whether like negative energy is probably not as good as positive one, but maybe there's somebody who can see past sort of the negativity and actually like extract some sort of value from it in some sort of way. So you never really know with these sort of things. And on top of that, like when you're looking at like the coin, right? Like who's going to be buying the coin, who's going to be buying the dip, it's probably going to be members of the community, right? Like chances are like you might have a couple of new onboards coming in to buy the dip, right? They're like, oh, finally this thing dipped, let me scoop some. But definitely like the members in the community, the people that are actually here building are going to be the people actually like supporting the price and stuff like this. And I think that's why PulseChain will always have values. Number one, because it's layer one. Number two is because you'll always have sort of the community backing it, right? You'll always have people building on PulseChain, transacting on PulseChain, deploying new things on PulseChain. What do we have? I think the United States Constitution is on PulseChain. So tons of stuff's on PulseChain now. So and it's only gonna I think it's only gonna get bigger, and it goes with the network effect, right? I think we're gonna have to sort of we're gonna have to wait for these guys to like sell low and then buy back their bigs higher, and we are just waiting for the green candles. But I do think like the community is one of the most important things in our whole ecosystem, because those are the people who are actually even the influencers. Like I don't know if that's the right word, influencers, but if you look at them, like I think they're usually net positive and stuff like this. Like they definitely they bring attention to certain things that maybe otherwise would have been overlooked or not looked at hard enough, right? So I think it's great. Like we have more than enough people, like probably way more than other communities. And even if you look at other cryptos, like there's nothing going on. Like I've been in other discords for other communities, and there's really nothing happening. Like there's a couple of things, right? But compared to PulseChain, especially like how we have like it's sort of community run, community driven, you don't really see things like this. Usually you see sort of like different ideas of like we'll give you a. I think we do have grants on PulseChain as well. Like I think for the PulseChain tour there was some sort of they were giving out some stuff to for people who were gonna build. But I know a lot of other chains, like there's probably people probably wouldn't be incentivized to go and build unless there was actually like an incentive right there for them. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I think like it's hard to say, but yeah, like PulseChain sort of it's in the shadow right now, right? Like even if you look at things like Solana have kind of taken off, and like Sami, like especially the all bear market, like Solana was getting thrashed, it was doing horrible, right? And Sami called it the soy lana and stuff like this. But even when you see things like this sort of take off, like it might it might hurt some people in our little ecosystem, but I think like our time is to come. Like and it's already too late basically once you've seen like these coins sort of take off. Like it's not $30 anymore or anything like this. So um yeah, like it doesn't actually make sense to like sell your bag that's gone down all the way all the way down for something that's up 1,000%, right? So I think like people who believe and people who can actually see where this is going, people who have done the research, are they're going to be rewarded, because that's usually that's how things work, right? It's like the more effort and the more time and the more effort and time you spend researching and developing your expertise and your conviction in a certain area, like you're eventually like, it's not even luck, like you've just
You make your own
you've
luck.
yeah, it's exactly. So you've positioned yourself correctly and you've done the research and you know sort of where things are going. And like we said, like PulseChain's been primed for a while. I think we're just waiting for a couple other things in the market cycle, but definitely like hopefully we can get some green candles to sort of bring in some new users, because I think that is one thing, like once you see the red candles go in, you start to see more drama happen, and everyone sort of everyone's just net happy once the green candles come in.